Hey there, friends. Wanted to get together for a math lesson today, and it's nothing new. I just want to make sure that we review some of our ways of doing our adding and subtracting showing pictures. When we do our grade card, that's something that we focus on at the end of the year, is being able to show a math problem with pictures. So I'm going to go through our addition first, and then I'll do some examples of the subtraction, and you can use any math fact that you've been working with and use that number sentence for your pictures. So I'm going to start with addition, like I said, and I'll go ahead and write that up here. Addition. Okay, so for addition, if I showed the kids a couple of pictures, like I'm about to, I would expect them then to be able to look at the pictures without any help and come up with the number sentence. So for example, if I had a group over here of smiley friends, and I would say this group, or I guess I wouldn't say anything, I would just show them in the picture, this group of smiley friends and this group of smiley friends equals blank. They would then have to fill in this number sentence below. Okay, so I would say, okay, kiddo, look at this picture of a number sentence and write the missing number sentence below. So what they should do, and when I'm teaching this, which we've been through this already, but when I'm teaching it, or even right now when you're reviewing it, I say, okay, this is a group over here and this is a group all by itself. If they seem to be struggling with that, a couple of times put a box around it and say, okay, that's one group. I'm going to use a different color. This is another group, just so that their eyes can see that those are two different groups. Once they have a good understanding of the two different groups, make sure they add that up. 1, 2, 3, and then 1 over here. And then they'll need to solve the problem. So 3 plus 1 more, and they put 4. When we do this paper assessment, there's a spot here to again put the answer up there. Not the end of the world if they forget to do that and they do the number sentence down below, but just for them to be thorough. If there's ever a spot for an answer, just encourage them to always do that. As they get older, that might get them into trouble if they leave any answer space blank, so I just kind of try to cover it all for them. Okay, so that's one. Let's go ahead and do a couple more, and then we'll move over to subtraction. I apologize, I go so slow with this board. I don't want it to fall over, and definitely don't want it to scratch my wallpaper back there. Okay, so this time I am no artiste, so I'm just going to do hearts this time. So if I have this, okay, so I would expect them to solve that there. So here is one group. Again, if you need to point that out for them. This is one group. This is another group. Why do I always keep picking the markers that don't show up right? I tell ya, you need to throw those ones away. Okay, and that's another group. These are not boxed out in our assessment form, so I just kind of do that to give them a visual, but those aren't typically there on paper. So if they can do it without the boxes, I definitely encourage that, or keep practicing until they don't need you to point out the different groups in boxes. Okay, so then this here would be your 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be your 5. And really, once a picture is anything over a 2, I always tell them just to mark it and count it. Again, I know they're good counters, but I just want to eliminate silly mistakes. Again, thinking of the future when they're in higher grades, when there isn't always leniency. So I always say when you count it, just mark it off so you know you've counted it, that you didn't forget anything. So then your 5, 2 plus 5 would then be 7. And if there's a blank up here, go ahead and put your 7 up there also. That was an ugly 7, Mrs. Held. Okay, I'll go ahead and do one more. See if I can leave my space there so I don't have to keep rewriting it. See, there's that board getting ready to crash on me. Okay. If I had, let's see, what did I do before? I'll do stars this time. Okay, so I would want them to count those up. And again, encourage them to mark it when they count it. They would have 6. Over here is another group. They would have 2, 6 plus 2 more. And they would be their 8. If they cannot do that mental math, go ahead and let them count it all up if they need to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And they should be able to read the number sentences. This is something else that we review in class. So they would point to it and they would be able to read as I pointed. They would say 6 plus 2 equals 8. Okay. Looking at the pictures and showing the number sentence is one skill. This is the next skill with the addition. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have erased that. So the next skill that we like them to be able to master for the last grade card is me then giving them a number sentence and them showing me the pictures that go match to it. Okay, so if I said, all right guys, I've got this problem down here, 4 plus 3 equals blank, I need you to show it to me in pictures. So then their pictures don't have to be fancy. I'm not fancy with my pictures. They could just draw circles for me and that's good enough. So if they looked at that 4, they would then be able to go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, that matches to there. 1, 2, 3, that matches to there. 4, 5, 6, 7. So then this is the part where it gets tricky. If they can show it in pictures, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's awesome. 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the number below. Sometimes we forget about showing it in pictures over here and they'll just put a 7. For me, that's okay, as long as the number sentence matches down here and the pictures here match to this. But showing the answer in pictures over here, again, is just being thorough. So here's another, let's do another example together. If my number sentence was 5 plus 1 equals blank, then up here they should be able to go 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, and when you're reviewing this, practicing it at home, just make sure that you stress to them, whatever your number is up here, that's what your group needs to match here. And then over here, whatever your number is here, this is what your group needs to match on the other side of that plus sign. That plus sign is like the divider of the groups. Okay, so blank plus blank equals blank. Blank plus blank equals blank. Here we know what the blanks are. 5 plus 1 equals 6. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1 equals, and then over here should be 6, but again, let's try to get them to show it in pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I just always have them double check and count. That way we don't make mistakes. All right, so that's the addition skills that we want to make sure that they can do with pictures and showing the math. This is showing in pictures. You could definitely act it out with any objects. So you could use markers and act it out. So if they were to act this out for me and you're working on a table surface, I would say, okay, show me the 5 plus 1. If they took their 5 markers and they said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1 equals 6. If they showed that to me like that in their separate groups, that's showing me that they understand the skill also. You could do that with cereal pieces, you could do it with Legos, you could do it with Matchbox cars, whatever you have, whatever interests them. You could do it with gummy bears if you needed to, M&Ms, whatever works, just so that they can show you the math problems also. If your number sentence is 5 plus 1, say show it to me, and then they would show you those 2 groups, letting you know that they understand what that means. All right, so let's flip over to subtraction. Okay, so similar with the subtraction, but on paper, it's hard to show takeaway. So we've taught them throughout the school year, when we show takeaway, we put an X on it, okay? That shows that we have taken it away because we can't physically remove it off the paper. So if my picture is this, that would be gone up there. And this is where it gets tricky for them, and this is something that we did not get to spend a lot of time on yet. So this might be a harder skill for them. Just keep practicing. Practice makes perfect. I tell them that all the time. So if I were to show them this picture and they would see this blank number sentence layout below, I would say, okay guys, look at this picture and tell me what you think the number sentence should be. They're going to look at, they're going to see the X's, they're going to know that those were taken away, but I feel like the part that we need to focus on is making sure that they understand what was there when we started. What was the number that was there that was started with before anything was taken away? And so then the correct answer would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is what was there before something was taken away. Okay, they know what was taken away is the X's. I'm pretty positive that's going to be the easy part for them. So they're going to say, okay, 2 was taken away. And then what's left is your 2. Okay, and you're going to have to kind of reiterate that with them. So boys and girls, I know you know that's the takeaway. If I were to ask you, if you look at these pictures, what was taken away? You're going to tell me 2 because you're going to see those 2 X's, and I know that you know that. And since you know that, the next question of, well, what's left? I also think you're going to know that very easily also. The 2 is what is left. But then understanding the whole picture of what was there before the problem got started would have been the 1, 2, 3, 4. It was everything on the page, okay? Let's go ahead and do another one. I apologize for my swirly 6, or my swirly circle. It looked like a 6. Okay, if this is my picture, and when we look at these pictures on our worksheets, there's no somebody sitting there drawing them out and then Xing one off to show what was taken away. When we look at the paper, it just looks like this. So I would say, okay, boys and girls, we need to figure out how many did they start with, how many was taken away, and how many are left, okay? If them figuring out what was taken away is the easy part, that's okay. But then really direct them then. Once you know what's taken away, find that takeaway sign, the minus, and put your takeaway here. So we can see that 1 was taken away. Okay, so once you see that, that's awesome, but it cannot go here. It has to go to where the takeaway belongs. Takeaway what? Takeaway 1. Okay, so we got 1 was taken away, but how many did we start with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They started with 6. Even though that one has the X on it, it was taken away, but we've really got to think about what did we start with. They started with 6. They took away 1. What was left? So 6 minus 1 equals blank. 6 take away 1 equals blank. And I read it both ways to the kids in the classroom because they understand that when you take something away, and we want to make sure that same understanding sticks with the minus or subtraction. So 6 minus 1, or 6 subtract 1. So 6 take away 1, 6 minus 1 equals, what do we have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's what it looks like on our assessments. Let's do another one for practice, and again, use any of your subtraction facts to work these types of problems out on paper, on a drawing board, or with objects also. When you use your objects, I'll do that after I do one more example, that way I don't get off task here. Whoa, baby, about lost my board. Don't go away. Okay, let's see here. Let's go. Look at that wobbly board. Shame, shame, shame. I know your name. Okay, let's look at this picture and decide what this number sentence should be. blank minus blank equals blank. All right, my eyes see right away that there was 3 taken away. That's awesome. I know that 3 was taken away, but I cannot put it here because this is the spot that tells me what we started with. 3 is not what they started with. 3 is what they took away. So that's going to come right here after the takeaway symbol. Okay, blank, take away 3 equals blank. What do they have left? Well, I easily see that there's 2 left. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put that over here. That tells me equals what is left is 2. So what did they start with? What number did they begin with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They started with 5. 5 minus 3 equals 2. Is that true? Well, let's do it. 5 minus or take away 3 equals 2. Is that what's left? Yes, it is. So it's an easy way to check yourself also. Okay, so 5 minus 3 equals 2. 5 take away 3 is 2. Again, just keep rereading it the different ways to help them understand it. And then I will go ahead and do the next part, the next skill in number sentences and showing what you know before I act it out with the markers like I did in the addition. Okay, so again, I want them to be able to use the pictures to fill out the number sentence, but then I also want to be able to give them a number sentence and them show me the pictures that belong to the number sentence. So if I said 5 minus 2 is blank, they would then need to show me the pictures. So when you practice this, really focus on, okay, 5, that's what you start with. So how many pictures do you need to draw? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is what you started with. Minus 2. Take away 2. How many do you need to take away? 2. And when we take away, we always go to the front. Okay, I took away 2, and using stars probably isn't the best picture since it kind of looks the same shape. What is left? 1, 2, 3. You can check yourself on your hands if you need to. If you have 5 and you take away 2, what is left? 3, and that is what I wrote. Okay, so they need to be able to show that subtraction problem in pictures. Let's do one more. If I have 6 minus 3 equals blank. Okay, 6 is what we start with. So how many pictures do you need to draw above? Okay, I've got 6. I started with 6 because that's what the problem says. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 minus 3. 6 take away 3. I'm going to take away 3. 1, 2, 3. What do I have left? I have 3 left. Okay, and then that would show the problem. Okay, now if you want to work it through with manipulatives, with anything you have, markers, stereo, cars, everything, the same things that I mentioned for the addition, if I were to give them that problem, 6 minus 3, you can use your flashcards for this. And you can say, okay, hold them up the card, 6 minus 3, show it to me. So they would get out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They'd line those up. They'd look at you and they say, okay, 6 is what I started with, and I'm going to take away 3. This is what they're telling you, and they would say 3 is what's left. 6 minus 3 is 3. Okay, so just acting that out with whatever you have. All right, kiddos. I will add some visual problems kind of like this onto our Google Site page under the printables tab so that you can look at them and copy them onto paper or a whiteboard if you need to, or if you have access to a printer, you could always print those off also. You just writing them on paper is good enough also. Don't feel like you have to print something off. So I hope you guys are working hard.